How are you? My name again is Michelle Connor. I'm your VCS for Living Environment. So what we're going to be looking at today is CK12. It's a common platform that we use in a lot of our science lessons. We're going to look at the teacher setup, student user version, as well as how to kind of assign assignments to your classes, as well as some of the assignments that are already embedded in this week's lesson. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and click Join. And going ahead and clicking Join will be able to sign you up. They're completely free, and that allows you to assign work with the integrations that already exist. So it's already integrated with Google Classroom. CK12 has its own platform if you want to set up classes independently in CK12, and it also integrates with Canvas and Schoolology so far. So you would just go to Join and teacher sign up. It's free, and you can sign up either using an email, using Google, or sign up with Facebook. I like to use my Google account that's linked to my regular school account, and we have our own Google domain, so that's the one I usually use. So if we actually look back into the homepage, this is a new feature, which seems to be very cool. There's this new, what they're saying, free assistant. With this assistant feature, it actually gives you a lot of data to look at to improve student outcomes. It tells you kind of the patterns. What are the kids struggling with? What are the kids working on? It has really cool auto grade, which I've actually used before in my classes. The questions that are built in and the practices that are built in are automatically graded into Google Classroom, so you don't have to go in and look at anything. It just automatically pushes a grade once the kids complete it if you have an account and assign it to your class. So this is actually one of my favorite features, is the grading feature. And then it also has a bunch of different topics, different sciences. It does have some other courses. The subjects, again, are up here, so there's a bunch of stuff to look at. Some for extra support and some for also actual instruction. So once you create your account, this is your dashboard. You'll see classes here. The only class I had made like a fake class a little while ago. I like to connect all my Google Classrooms directly to here, so they won't particularly show up in your classes section. So what you'll see here is there's some trending stuff. What kind of other people are looking at. But the really cool thing is they have these different kind of types of instructional materials. They have these reads or articles that are built in. A lot of the time they have built-in questions. They have built-in videos, which are really helpful. The next thing they have, which are my favorite, are these practices. So the practices basically are like adaptive quizzes. And what they do is they ask the students questions in increasing difficulty. And as the students get them correct, they can move on and they ask them a little bit harder questions until they get a particular amount correct. And then if they don't get them correct, they can start over. And these, again, are graded and are and with the Google Classroom integration, they grade them right away. The only thing I have to say about the practices is some of the typing questions are very, very specific and come from the text or writing. So if it's spelt wrong, it won't necessarily catch it as correct. They might be looking for, like sometimes teachers teach the term cell membrane. If the student types in plasma membrane, it won't recognize it, even though it's considered the same thing. So that's my only complaint about the practices, but the rest I really like. The videos, again, are integrated directly into the articles, and they have separate videos, which are really cool, and you can assign to your classes. And then they have these Plix Activities, which is something that we're going to be showing you during this week's lesson. So the Plix Activities are interactive. They allow the students to kind of run mini simulations. There's sometimes dragging and dropping going on. And they have some questions, again, integrated in as well. So here's a read assignment that is included in this week's lesson. So if you're in the lesson under the independent work, you'll see CK12 Chapter 4.6 Genetic Code. This is what opens up. So one thing I really like about the readings in particular is they have kind of images. Some of them have videos built in like we talked about. You'll see a video here that's built right in. They have summaries and thought questions that are great. And one other cool thing that they have is they have some annotation tools. So they have like a highlighter, which allows the students to highlight important information. And they also have a little like note catcher that goes along with it. So they can add a note, which is also very cool. Now, if the kids don't have accounts, they're not going to be able to save this information. If they have their own accounts in CK12, they will. In order to assign it to your class, all you would have to do is click Assign. And then you would click the platform for integration. So for me, we use Google Classroom. So you'll see kind of the title. You're able to type in instructions, and then you would connect your Google Classroom. So it'll open up all your emails that you have, and you'd be able to pick whatever class you would want to assign it to. So Plix Activities, or the Plix series, are interactive activities where students get to practice simulations. They're usually involving some drag and drop aspect, and they always include directions, a little activity or simulation to run, as well as some questions built in. They also include some background information. If you click on this Learn More, which is really cool, they have some more information. So if your kids didn't have an opportunity to do the reading, and then all of a sudden they try and jump to the Plix and have no idea what's going on, there is more information. This is, again, the read that was built in that kind of gives them a better idea of what's going on if they're really stuck. The only thing I don't particularly love about the Plix is it doesn't tell the kids if they're right or wrong as they're doing the activity. The answer is usually built into the question itself. So technically you can, in theory, drag and drop any of the wrong answers in there. It's not going to tell them that it's right or wrong until they go into the questions themselves. So for this one, it's looking at to translate it. So you have AUG. It's showing you the first one as a model, and you would drag the MET onto the red line, which they explain here. And you would continue with the sequence. Questions are built in. There's also some really nice hints. It says use the table to figure it out. If you go ahead and kind of just click on any answer, it'll tell you if it's right or wrong. So this is really the answer for this setup. So again, it doesn't necessarily tell them here if it's right or wrong. It's built into the questions. And then there's different questions that are built in. So they could just click and it'll tell them that it's wrong, and it'll give them the correct answer as well as some hints again along the way. This actually looks exactly the same on an iPad, and the kids would just use their fingers to drag and drop rather than using a mouse to drag and drop. But it does function and look the same way on an iPad.